Hi, it's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome back to my channel where I make a lot of cake and cookie decorating tutorials as well as give a lot of baking business tips. In today's video, I'm going to be rating recipes in which I was able to use up all of my leftover ingredients that I have. I chose this first recipe, which I actually have made before, but I chose it because I wanted to see the versatility of it and I wanted to see how well it worked with all of the different chocolate flavors that I have. When I'm looking for a recipe, I'm looking for a few specific things. Firstly, I'm looking for something where I have all of the ingredients on hand on a regular basis. That for me is probably number one. It doesn't mean I'm going to skip over the recipe completely if it includes an ingredient I don't normally carry. It just means that it's probably not going to end up in my go-to recipe pile. The other thing is time. Is it going to take me forever to put together? And was it really realistic when it said it would come together in about 30 minutes or less? Or was that a lie? This next one might seem a little bit weird, but I really like it when measurements are in grams or ounces, and I'm not as big of a fan when it's just in cups. However, if it is in cups, I like it to be easy measurements, like 1 cup, half cup. As soon as we start getting into 1/8 cups, I am out. And finally, the most important thing for me is taste and texture. Both of those things are super, super important. However, there is one thing I left off that might be more important for some of you bakers out there. And that is specific instructions on how everything should come together. Because I know baking processes pretty well now, I don't really look at directions anymore. I just look at the actual ingredients. Sometimes, if it's something a little bit more complicated, I will look at the directions more carefully, but overall, I'm not really looking for that. But for the use of the general public, I will be rating recipes using this as a measure. And not to worry, I will be posting a link for both of the recipes that I'm testing out today down in the description box below. What I like about this recipe is the ease of all the ingredients and the method. It's really very simple. You cream your butters and sugars together and then you add in your dry ingredients. It also doesn't include melted chocolate like some other double chocolate cookie recipes do. I find that's just another little added mess. It's much better when it's just a cocoa recipe, which this is. Now, how did all of my leftover chocolates fare in this recipe? I will say that starting off here with the Calabo chocolate, this obviously did really, really well. This chocolate is specifically made to be used in baking and cooking, so it was delicious and it created a very, very perfect crunchy texture on the top of the cookies. It also didn't cause any major issues with spreading. Next up, I had my caramel and toffee bit infused chocolate. This also did very, very well, and the scorbits were a tasty addition. This one probably baked up the best, I want to say, out of all of the cookies. So the straight after eights that were kind of in that tube shape really did very, very beautifully. The ones that did not bake up very well, and I don't really think that this is an issue with the recipe itself, but just with the chocolate and the nature of this chocolate, was this strawberry mint after 8. It just really spread out quite a bit and it kept the cookie super, super chewy. Overall, I rate this recipe a 9 out of 10. It's really delicious, easy to come together. However, I only didn't give it a 10 out of 10 because it does take a little bit longer for things to come together than the recipe originally states. But if you weigh out all of your ingredients and you follow all of the directions, you are going to come out with a nice, rich, chocolatey cookie that has a slight chew to it as well, which is my favorite type of cookie. I am a thin and chewy cookie kind of girl, so if that's what you like, you are not going to be disappointed with this one. Moving along to the next chocolate forward recipe, my husband had been asking me to use up this protein powder, which he thought was way too sweet, for the past 6 months. So I decided, yes, I am going to finally do that. We also had a whole bunch of leftover bananas, so I also needed to use that up too. So this really was 2 birds with 1 stone because I could use up the protein powder and the bananas. And you might have noticed that my nail looked really, really wonky. The reason is because I broke it playing piano. Playing the piano can be dangerous for long nails. So for this, it didn't really say if you were supposed to use sweetened peanut butter or just raw peanut butter. I think that they did want you to just use unsweetened peanut butter, but I didn't have any of that on hand. Really, at this point, I had added in all of the ingredients already. So in terms of ingredients, this is something that is very readily available to myself. I have cocoa powder, peanut butter, and protein powder on hand a lot. There's also no added sugar in this whatsoever. You don't need granulated sugar, so it's really a no-fuss recipe. It's also a great way to use up bananas. I'm sure most of us have a lot of bananas just laying around, and sometimes you just get sick of the typical banana bread. Now, I chose to add in some chocolate chunks here because, of course, as you guys saw with the first recipe, I have a lot of leftover chocolate that I need to get rid of, so I decided to add that in. I also wanted to keep this recipe as healthy as I could. I didn't want to add any butter in there or any shortening, so I decided to really cover this with a lot of parchment so that none of it would touch the pan whatsoever. So that was my original thought, but then I found this cracked lamb that I also had in the freezer that needed to be used up, so I decided to add that on there. And of course, we know cracked lamb has butter in it, so I understand I did end up adding a little bit of that onto this brownie. The bake time and temperature was pretty accurate for this one. It really did bake up in about 20 to 25 minutes, which is pretty quick for a brownie. I find my original brownie recipe takes about 45 minutes, so I guess this just bakes up a lot more easily. And I will say that the preparation time in this recipe's instance really was like the 5 minutes or whatever it says it takes. It was very, very quick. And although it doesn't use weighed measurements, the cups were so easy to work with. So in my books, all of those things would point to a fairly high rating, but when it came down to taste, I really wasn't that big of a fan. The texture was actually pretty nice, and it was very dense, just like a regular fudgy brownie. But I'm not going to dock the recipe too many points just because of taste, only because I chose a protein powder that maybe just wasn't as tasty. Also, I'm not a huge fan of banana type desserts, so it would be unfair for me to dock points when I know full well that using banana in things isn't my favorite. So I would still give this recipe a solid 8 out of 10. If you're expecting a really delicious fudgy brownie, you're not getting that. However, if you're expecting something that does have protein in there and will satisfy that sweet tooth, you are getting that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading weekly, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. And if you didn't know, I have a secondary channel called Need More Sweet Dreams Bake Shop where I share more lifestyle type things on that channel. And I also have the Bake Down podcast with Alia, which you should also check out. Bye!